The locked room, the inheritance. When my grandfather died, he left us two things: the house and a locked room that no one was allowed to open. The house was expected. It had been in our family for generations, a massive creaking Victorian home at the edge of a dense forest. My dad grew up there, and so did his father before him. It was meant to stay in the family, but the locked room, that was a surprise, because according to my dad, the door had been locked since before he was born. We found the key inside an envelope with a note. "Do not open the door. This is my final warning." Dad stared at the note for a long time. He looked pale. "We're not opening it," he said, but my sister Jamie scoffed. "Come on, don't you want to know what's inside?" Dad just shook his head, and for weeks we listened to him. We moved into the house, we settled in. We ignored the locked room on the second floor, until the noises started. The whispers. It began at night, a soft scratching sound. Then whispers. I thought I was imagining it at first. The house was old. Maybe the pipes were acting up. Maybe it was the wind. But then Jamie heard it too. One night, I found her standing in front of the locked door, her ear pressed against the wood. "Do you hear that?" she whispered. I did. A faint voice, muffled, like someone whispering from the other side. Jamie turned to me, eyes wide. "There's someone in there." I swallowed. That's impossible. But I wasn't so sure anymore. The key. We lasted 2 months before we broke. Before the curiosity became too much. Before the whispers got louder. One night, while Dad was asleep, Jamie grabbed the envelope. She pulled out the key. I hesitated. "Jamie, what if there's a reason it was locked?" She met my eyes. "Don't you want to know?" I did. I really, really did. So I held my breath, and she turned the key. The room that shouldn't exist. The door creaked open. Inside was nothing. Just an empty, dust-covered room. No furniture, no windows, just 4 walls and a wooden floor. Jamie frowned. "That's it?" I exhaled, relief washing over me. "Guess so." We turned to leave. Then, the door slammed shut. The key fell from Jamie's hand, and the whispering began again. Louder, clearer, right behind us. The truth. I turned slowly, and froze. Because we weren't alone anymore. In the corner of the room, where there had been nothing but dust, something was standing there. A shape, tall, thin, watching us. Jamie gasped, "What?" Then it moved. Fast. Too fast. Straight toward us. I grabbed Jamie, fumbled for the key, and shoved it into the lock. We stumbled out, slamming the door behind us. The whispers stopped. The house fell silent. But the worst part? We hadn't imagined it. Because when we turned around, Dad was standing at the top of the stairs. His face was pale. His hands were shaking. And when he saw the door open, he started crying. The family curse. Dad didn't yell. Didn't ask why we opened it. Instead, he whispered, "Did you see it?" Jamie and I glanced at each other. Neither of us wanted to answer. But we didn't have to, because Dad already knew. "I should have told you," he murmured. Then he told us the truth. The real reason the door had been locked for generations. It started with my great-grandfather. He had a brother who wasn't normal. He was violent, unpredictable, dangerous. And one day he snapped. He killed the entire family, except for one person. My great-grandfather survived. But instead of turning his brother in, he did something worse. He locked him in that room, alive, and left him there to die. The wrong sister. That night, after we went to bed, the door unlocked itself, and Jamie became different. She started talking to the door. One night I found her standing inside the room. Her eyes were wrong, unfocused, like she wasn't fully there anymore. Then she grinned, and the whispering started again. The tunnels. I woke up at 3:12 a.m. Jamie was standing in my doorway. Her voice was soft. "Come with me." I hesitated. "Jamie, I need to show you something." She tilted her head. Her hands were covered in dust, the kind of dust you get from crawling on the floor. My stomach dropped. "Jamie," I whispered, "where were you?" She smiled. Then she whispered, "I was in the walls." Part 9, The Man Who Never Left. She led me to the room. A hole in the wall had appeared. A tunnel. I followed her inside. It was lined with fingernail scratches, deep, desperate claw marks. And then I crawled into a hidden underground chamber. And in the center of that chamber was a bed. And in that bed was a body. The figure in the bed opened its eyes. The eyes were sunken, hollow but awake. It whispered, "You finally found me." I stumbled back. "But Jamie?" She smiled, and whispered back, "I told you I'd come back for you." Epilogue, the missing piece. Jamie never came back. The police, Dad, everyone searched, but the tunnels were gone. The room was empty. The only thing left was the locked door, sealed shut. But weeks later I found an old letter, written in faded ink, from my great-grandfather's brother. A letter that ended with the words, "I know you'll come back for me, because you and I, we are the same.